logged in now. So if you sit tight, it should start at your end in a sec. All right. Thanks, Bill. We will get there.
Stuart, you're live.
Okay, we're live. Thanks, Joe. Okay. So Ziggy, we're live.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to give it a minute or two for people. People are probably signing in or connecting.
You got 13 attendees so far.
13 attendees. Okay, so hello to everybody who's attending. We're just going to wait a moment or two. Ellis from VisionAid is hopefully going to join us. He had some difficulty, but hopefully he can see us now. So I'm just going to welcome everybody to our Actilino demo from Sight and Sound and VisionAid and Help Tech in Germany. And the demo will be given by Ziggy from Germany, who is the CEO of Help Tech, who are the company who make this Braille product. And just to give a little bit of background, I suppose this demo came from a couple of queries that I've had certainly in the last little while around Braille music, and this particular Braille product does a couple of other things, not just Braille music. Ziggy will mention that as well over time. So we just literally take another minute or two while we get set up. Ziggy, I hope that's okay.
Oh, perfect for me. I hope you can hear me fine.
Yeah, we can hear you well. In the room, we also have James Everson from Sight and Sound Technology in the UK, who's helping us out today. And we have Ellis from VisionAid Technology, who will be joining us.
Everybody.
There's Ellis. Hi, Ellis.
Hello.
You hear us, Ellis? Okay, I thought Ellis was able to hear us there. I don't think he can. Ziggy, I think we could start because everybody else is in the room. We have 13, I think James said, people in the room listening to us. So these people are they are supporting children who are blind and have low vision around Ireland.
Oh, wonderful. It's a great honor to talk to you this afternoon, or my afternoon. I think is for you is still before lunchtime. I would love to take a few minutes to talk about general introduction of Help Tech, and then we move on to. I would love to dive into the product Actilino, showing some unique features here, and thank you for also Stuart letting me know that you were especially interested also how this music Braille works. So in 25 minutes, I have asked my colleague Felix Kurzmacher, who is actually the head of software development, himself a blind musician, and he's since he is also his creation, Music Braille. I think he's the very best person to show it to you. And you can all ask him the tricky questions about the Braille notation on music and whatever. He's up to it. I don't know if those people are joining us are sighted, if they can see me well, if everything is okay with my camera, and of course what I have planned to do is also tilt down my camera a little later, maybe 2-3 minutes, to show the actual product and to show how I'm using it.
Yeah, and just to say that if people have any difficulty seeing, or if you want to ask questions, there is a Q&A area of your screen. You can type the questions there, and hopefully we'll be able to get to those as the session goes along.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
Connor's just responded, sorry Ziggy, that some of them have got no sound.
Oh, no sound, okay.
Sound.
Okay.
Oops.
So some people are hearing us and some people are not. Is that the?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is being recorded though, so.
Yeah, so we can share a link to this afterwards.
Yeah.
For people, maybe Connor, if you can maybe let people know that we will share a link as soon as the recording comes available afterwards.
Is there anything I can do on my side to
No, I suspect it's, if some people are hearing us, it looks like we are transmitting. So I'm not actually sure, to be honest. But we are, as James said, it is being recorded, and we will share the video and audio as soon as the session is over.
I see 3 presenters, so it's James, you, and myself.
Yeah, unfortunately for us, this is our first time using the live event feature, so we're, as in many cases, we're learning a little bit about this as we go along.
Oh, yeah. Well. I know the feeling. We have also just introduced this to in our company, all the fancy Teams functions.
Okay, so I suppose for whoever can hear us, if you'd like to stay with us, and Ziggy will present the Actilino product, and then as you mentioned, Ziggy will be talking about Braille music in a little while as well.
Perfect, thank you. Let me start by introducing Help Tech. Help Tech, many of you know us as Handy Tech, because our established brand name for our Braille products is Handy Tech, and Handy Tech Braille displays. Since Handy is in German the mobile phone, the name of the mobile phone, it is always some cause to some confusion. This is why the company is called Help Tech since 3 years. This was also when Mark Züfle, my co-CEO, joined us. He's young, strong, full of action guy, and we're very happy that he's helping me organizing the company. We claim to be one of the leading producer of and manufacturer and developers for Braille devices, and investing heavily in development. For us, important is that also blind colleagues are part of our team. We are in total 45. Our headquarters, as I said, in Horb, which is south of Stuttgart, in the southwest corner of Germany, in the Black Forest area. We have also offices in Cologne, Marburg, in Stuttgart, and close to Hamburg, in Lüneburg. We have established quality systems since 23 years. It's certified for ISO 9001 standard, and we provide 3-year warranty on all our products. We try to have a good service and with a close relationship to our dealers in the UK. VisionAid, we are very happy to have strong partners and working closely together. One aspect, since there's always some improvements, some new functions, the note-taking side is getting stronger. There's always some new aspects in more elegant and more precise, let's say, wireless connection to via Bluetooth. There's so many things we keep updating all the time. All the updates are for free. You find them on our homepage. You find them also on a little stick called marketing, the start stick, provided with every product we are sending out. What makes Help Tech unique in our Handy Tech Braille displays? I want to show you one of our products now on the camera. For those who can see, you might notice that the shape of the Braille cells are concave shaped. This was based on an ergonomic study sponsored by the German government, finding the best, mostly ergonomic reading position. So it's leaning backwards, and it provides a very relaxed hand position when reading Braille. A second aspect, what we have done is that we are detecting the reading position on the Braille display. So we have turned the Braille device into a touch sensitive device, similar to the technology step taken for sighted with coming from a normal screen to a touch screen. A quick demo on this. So if I open here a quick context sensitive help, a help file, as I pass along reading the Braille display, the moment I'm reaching the end of the Braille, it automatically switches to the next position, providing you continuously endless reading pleasure without the need of pressing whatever scrolling buttons you used to press for navigating through text. This is here I want to show you a little later on what can we do all possible with this ATC technology, active tactile control technology, providing or detecting the reading position on the Braille display, and also helping teachers to get a better idea of the reading skills for students. We can analyze here the reading speed, the reading flow. Here we have two tools I would love to show you. One is called Active ATC Log Analyzer, and the other one is the ATC Log Player. This I want to do a little later on. If it's okay, I jump into the product Actilino and give you a little presentation what's all about Actilino, if it's okay. So let's get started.
Okay, that's brilliant. We've no questions so far, but if people have questions, again, you can post your messages. I know some people are having difficulty with audio, and we are sharing the video. And so please continue to post questions. I'm keeping an eye on those as we go along.
Yeah. So Stuart, if you can prompt me those questions.
I will, of course.
There's a danger that I'm keep losing the track while concentrating on what I'm showing here.
No problem.
Okay. So what I do is turn the camera down to my Actilino. Oh, okay. That should do it. Okay. So let's have a quick look around what I have here in my hand. So we have seen those concave shaped Braille cells, 16 cells in total. We have a Braille input keyboard, navigation keys left and right. And in the front, we have 2 space keys, and in the center, like a joystick, up, down, left, right, five-way navigation key. In the center here, above the Braille keyboard, there's an opening. This is for the microphone. We have also a built-in microphone and built-in loudspeakers. Actually, they are iPhone loudspeakers we have built in. There's also in the front the slot for the SD card, all the internal memories, and a lot of the language-related files, like message files, are also stored on this SD card. So it's a very compact unit. A usability aspect is always also battery. What are we using? First of all, we have a battery compartment, so it's very easy for everybody to change the battery. You don't have to send it around the world or to us, to Germany, just to get a stupid battery replaced. It's a rechargeable battery. It should last for years and years. See, we even using a standard Samsung smartphone battery, very flat and easy to exchange. And this battery gives you a battery lifetime with one battery charge of easily 35, 40 hours. So it gives you really a long battery life. Comes with a carrying case, a very compact carrying case, but I leave it now out of the carrying case. And for those who are sighted and joining our presentation, I have a little helper here, a little app on my Android smartphone called Tabli. I'm using this Tabli app to connect to the Actilino. Let's go. Since I have so many, so I'm using this one. I have 5 Braille displays on my table here, so I have always to look up which one I'm connecting. Come on, we should connect now. Is it on? Connecting, okay. So, because this connection, oh, come on, it tells me no connection. Oh, okay, now it's connected. So, let's see how I can do this. Maybe like this. So at least I can now nicely see on the screen that now the Actilino is now connected via Bluetooth to my Android smartphone and providing me a feedback of. Where are we now? Tools scheduler. Yeah, okay. Providing me the feedback. So for those who can see my screen, I have now the first menu item on the Tabli app presented. It says file. A calculator. Sorry, scheduler is next. Then we have clock, music, Braille, player, games. So we have some internal note-taking functionality, and we have also a bunch of options. For example, add options. You can also change the system language. You can select, meanwhile, 30 languages, including Arabic and Chinese. So most European languages are also there. For the sighted, here you can also see on my reading position inversed presented on the display. It's a nice assistant here to show what's going on. A quick demo is how to start taking notes. So a typical situation at school is a student turns on the Actilino. It comes up to go to files, asking for a new file. What I do is I'm pressing the center button on the right of the Braille display, which acts like an enter key. And if I select this, then I can start typing here. Typing my hello. I can also place the cursor with the cursor routing keys, and also showing marking some text here. Very easy to handle, and so typical situation. So that I have done my whatever, my text. So very simple, this is my text. So let's say I want to save it. So what I have pressed is a Command E, a space with a .1 and 5 for exit. It asks me if I want to save the changes. Yes, it is suggesting the name hello. It always takes the first 1, 2, whatever makes sense, words of the text. So I say, okay, I save it as hello. This so what I have done, and this could have been also my math class or whatever, just taking a short note, saved it as hello. So in my let's go, if I go to files, enter, and scroll down into the file list, I find also my little text. So it even was hello. This is my text. Very simple, straightforward, easy, easy to take some notes. We have one really nice, cool way of transferring the text to a PC. What I do is connected via USB to a PC, and since the Actilino is also acting like a keyboard, like a standard keyboard, I can send over the text as I would have typed it on the keyboard. We call it the direct transfer. It's a little key combination it sends out, and whatever editor, Word, or whatever you have open, you can send it over. Another way to send over files is a transfer program we call HTCOM, which comes with all our products, and you find it also on our homepage. What I would like to show you, if it's okay, for a moment, how to use it with the iPhone. So to use it with the iPhone, first you need to pair it with the iPhone. You do this by I can show this. I go to settings, and in settings you find accessibility. The first program or first topic is Voiceover. Voiceover is actually the screen reader, also providing Braille input. So if Braille access, and if I go to Braille, I see the Actilino already there. What I have done, and I highly recommend to do this as default, that I have set by three times pressing the home button to start the screen reader, a Voiceover. So what you have heard is the little beep. This tells me that I have a connection to the Actilino, and I can now. So whatever I see from the screen reader, in this case Voiceover, I see also on the tablet app. This is I think especially for sighted and for teachers, or for parents, for everybody, it's really cool to know what's actually now written on the Braille display. So it's a very, very simple solution to get access to the information what is on the Braille display. If you're not really fluent in reading Braille, I actually are always cheating a little bit by looking at the Braille display and looking at the dots. But here you see I have all the wonderful functionality of the iPhone available. And let's say if I'm using the cursor routing keys,
10 degrees. Tuesday. Early forecast.
So I can tap through the
10 degrees.
and I see that now we have 14 degrees here and mostly sunny. This is chord H for home. Always brings me to the home screen back again. So it's nice and easy to handle if I go to the lock screen. So it's back in my little internal note-taking. In this case, in my case, it's back at the text. I have written, hello, this is my little text. So it really intuitively switched back and forth between the different connections here. If it's even one highlight is, hallo Felix, kommst du mir zu meiner Seite? My colleague Felix, I have die andere Seite vom Tisch. My colleague Felix have just joined us because now I would love to show hand over the presentation to my colleague Felix for showing you the music Braille function. And
okay, and maybe Ellis, just, or maybe sorry, while you're doing that, Ziggy, just to say to people that I suppose the music Braille was the thing for me that was kind of interesting about this this technology, and it would be very interesting, I think, for us to see that in action and maybe to talk a little bit about how music Braille can be used, especially I think for people who are just starting to learn Braille music for kids. So thank you, Felix, is it?
Yeah, Felix.
Yeah,
yes.
thank you very much. You're welcome.
Okay, so let me. So first of all, this is Felix. So maybe you want to say hello, Felix.
Hello.
I pass on the microphone to Felix. Das ist nur hier so eine das ist ein Headset, aber einfach unten lassen, dass es bloß an deinem Nacken hängt.
Mhm.
Geht das so? Brauchst du nicht auch aufsetzen?
Ja, aber das fehlt sonst. Okay. Okay. Okay, I hope you can hear me all right.
We can hear you perfectly. Thank you, Felix.
Okay. Now this way. Okay.
So Felix is using also, of course, how could it be different? Actilino, because he is actually the creator of all the different software. And by the way, I would love to mention different products briefly. This is the active file, 40 character Braille display, also with note-taking capability. This is Active Star using a QWERTY keyboard, also offering multi-Bluetooth connectivity, a lot of wonderful options. But let's, including music Braille, but let's dive into the music Braille Felix is now using.
So to give you a little bit of background first on music Braille, was how long ago? Maybe 7 or 8 years since we developed it as a tool, primarily an educational tool to teach blind children and adults, but primarily children, to work with Braille music notation. So I'm going to turn on the Actilino.
You can leave it on your lap.
Okay. Okay, we got the start message. So now what I do is I go down in the menu to music Braille.
I don't know if
and
can you hear also the Actilino? Maybe you try.
Yeah, we can. We can hear the Actilino. Okay. Yeah.
I've increased the volume a little bit so you can all hear it. So if I start music Braille, I open a new file. We're going to first of all, I'm going to show you a file that's already on there. So you hear what it sounds like.
Maybe you also describe what you're typing on the Braille keyboard.
All right, I go into the menu of the Actilino, and I go down to Music Braille. And it's a bit like the file menu, which you may already know. So it has a new file, it has a previous file and all these things. And in addition, it has all the music files that I have created. So for example, there's one that I called dance, and I go down to this file and hit enter on it. And now I have the Braille music notation on my Braille display. So when I touch the notes, I hear the. Okay, let's take another instrument here, which is maybe easier to hear.
How have you changed the instrument?
To change the instruments, I type chord, like hold down the spacebar and type the letter I, which is dots 2 and 4, and then I have for instrument, and then I can. And now as I'm touching the notes, it plays them back at me with ATC technology. So I always touch the note that I'm hearing, or rather I hear the note that I'm touching. So we have two scenarios. We have the scenario where we type music. For example, I can just start a new file, and if I start typing notes, it plays them back as I type them. And it also plays them back when I just run my finger along the notes at any speed I do. So I can speed this up. So this is, I guess, this is the best way to associate. I mean, learning the Braille notation is all about associating the feel, you know, the tactile feel of the notes with the sound. Especially if people have perfect pitch.
I remember the note C is a D and
right, and D is an E. It's very
but this is international, so even whatever Chinese or Japanese is using the same system.
I think Louis Braille, and this is kind of interesting. Louis Braille not only created the Braille letters, but he is also the inventor of the music Braille notation. He was also a musician, and he wanted something that has no cultural bias.
So can you create a short example for us and play it for us?
Actually, already did that.
Okay.
So if I play it now, it goes. Yeah.
I think I know this.
Yeah. Felix, may I ask a question that I think some of our teachers may have? So I'm going to hopefully ask it on their behalf. So sure. I've been looking at this Braille music feature. I'm really impressed by it. I think it's great. So first of all, well done. It's really good. How sophisticated can it be? So things like intervals, for example, is that possible? Could you make chords or not at the moment? And things like right hand and left hand. And the other query I had, I was trying to put time signatures in the other day, and I don't think it liked it, but maybe I wasn't doing it right.
Right now, at the moment, it does not support these features natively. Okay. I have ideas of how to do it, and future products will have some implementation of that. But this is pretty much the first draft of it that stayed with us since I did it several years ago. And it's good for teaching individual notes with their associated sounds. It has the octave signs, at least some of them, you know, and also lengths. It has dotted notes.
Yes.
Currently, it does not have triplets, but it has dotted notes.
Okay.
And all the standard lengths. So it's good to teach the basics.
Yeah, no, it's really good. And I suppose that was why we were interested for this group, for children who are starting to experience Braille music, that this is a way to really bring it from just the Braille to have it linked with sound, is where it is really, really unique.
We had at our booths when we presented this, we had 10 or 11-year-old kids who, in the matter of 5 minutes or so, started composing their own melodies, which actually sounded great. So it's a very quick way. You might call it a quick and dirty way, but it's definitely a quick way to learn the notation.
Our motivation was also to bring a little fun to learning and improving your tactile skills. And here it's often Braille learning. It could be yeah, not very entertaining, and and here
Right.
we just want to bring also some fun to it. So this is also why we have games implemented, for example.
Right, and most blind kids have, before they learn Braille, they learn speech, of course. So they use speech, they use text to speech in pretty much every aspect of their computing experience. So when they start learning Braille, teachers often have to pretty much force them to abandon speech for a moment and to just read the Braille. And it slows them down in the beginning, of course, considerably. And so to make this a bit more fun and to have the immediate feel of success, you touch something and it does something without slowing you down. It has the immediacy of, the instant gratification of speech, but also the consistency of Braille. So I think we kind of married those two worlds. We have two games currently. Actually, on Actilino, we have one game, which is Hangman, which is, of course, a great teaching tool also, because in addition to Braille, it teaches words and also the ability to recognize words. And we have something called Braille Hunt, which is a casual game around recognizing Braille patterns. So you get a series of patterns and you have to find one that's been given to you in advance. You have to search the needle in the haystack, you might say, with the patterns becoming more complex as you go.
We have a lot of ideas around new games. I would love to see one day also even Sudoku on it. This is a challenge.
Yeah, we have card games, dice games. We have some ideas what we can do.
Would either of you guys like to talk about the tactile control, so that you can automatically, for example, when you reach the end of the line, the Braille display automatically pans? I forget the technical name for it. Sorry.
The ATC, the
ATC.
active tactile control, because you have this active element of controlling it by touch. So on the most, let's say on the most abstract level, it tracks the reading position. So we have all the information we can get from the touches, we consolidate them into a reading position. So if you have two fingers on the Braille display, there is still, for example, there's still a primary finger. There's still a reading position, a focus of attention, so to speak. And we track this and we do interesting things with it. The simplest of them, of course, being the automatic scrolling. When you're at the end of the line, it automatically scrolls to the next. Okay, I can demonstrate this here. I bring up a help file. And now as I read in the file, it will automatically scroll.
Is it good to see? I'm not sure.
Maybe
it was already good to see.
Now as I'm reading,
I'm trying to.
It changes to the next line automatically without me having to press a key. So for if you're reading a book on a train or something, or no matter where, but if you read a book that has like 500 pages, you have probably thousands, if not millions, of these individual key presses of the triple action key to go to the next line. You can leave those behind with ATC. It will just do it by itself.
But how about screen readers which are not supporting ATC? How can I use this?
Right. If there's
like an iPhone, I want to use ATC on an iPhone. Is this possible?
It is very much possible. On the iPhone, for example, you have iBooks as an excellent application to read books. So, of course, you want this auto-scrolling feature also on the iPhone. So what you can do then is you can type, there's a key combination, it's chord 1, 7, and 8. So it's like a capital A with an additional .8. And that will turn on a mode of ATC where you get the auto scrolling, even if the screen reader we're talking to does not know anything about ATC. So it tracks the ATC internally and it just scrolls on when it's time.
May I ask Felix again? Sorry, can that be turned on and off on the fly? Because I was trying this yesterday. Do you need to turn it on before you pair with the iOS device, or before you unlock the iOS device, or what's the what's the sequence, I suppose?
It can actually be turned on and off on the fly at any time. So if you turn it on before pairing.
But maybe you need to know the internal mode?
No, it will actually work regardless of what mode you're in, because it's such a frequent thing that it has to be. It's needed especially in terminal mode. So we have it there.
Okay.
It's called
178. 178.
Port 178. Okay.
And of course, when a screen reader does know ATC, we have, for example, JAWS supports ATC in our driver. So there we can do additional interesting things. We have different reading behaviors that we can react to, such as slow reading, like when I very slowly move my finger. We have, this would be normal reading. Then we have fast reading, like I'm almost doing a swipe gesture like on the iPhone. We have backwards reading, and we have staying on one character for a prolonged period of time. And we can define individual responses to those 4 behaviors. So for example, we can say if reading slows down to a halt and the finger comes to rest on a particular character, this is usually an indication that the student had problems reading that character. They are scanning it, they're giving it additional attention. So now we can, for example, tell the text-to-speech engine to tell us what character this is, or to tell us the word which this is. So there are use cases, there are scenarios we can construct around the reading experience, where the question to ask is always, what is the most useful thing that the speech output can now do based on what the user is currently doing with the Braille display? So this is what's possible with these. We call them ATC assistant functions because they assist the user in using their screen reader.
And that's kind of linked to the logging idea then as well?
Yes.
Being able to log
into the logging idea, what we do logging, and later on I want to show the ATC log analyzer and the log player example by sharing my screen here.
Okay, so the logging is a great tool to evaluate a student's reading prowess, to find out where they may have problems. So we can turn on in the screen reader driver, we can turn on a log file, and it will keep track of exactly what was displayed on the Braille display and what character was touched at what time. So we have a record of what happened.
Down to the millisecond.
Down to the millisecond, yes. Now, if we have a tool which Ziggy will show you later on, which is the log analyzer. You load up one of those log files that was created by the driver, by the screen reader, and you can evaluate. You have a statistical analysis of what's going on. You have a problematic. You have, first of all, you have the frequency of characters in the text, like which were the most common and the least common characters in the text that was read. Then, of course, you have the different reading behaviors. You have which characters were problematic. So, for example, many students read only the first 3 or 4 characters of a word and they think they know what the word is, so they skip the rest. These skips will show up in the log file, of course, because some of the characters were not even touched. So actually the student hasn't read those characters. They just assumed they were there. And this is, of course, in the when you start learning Braille, this is a problem because you shouldn't make assumptions about what's on the paper. If you're speed reading, that's okay. But if it's precision, especially in mathematical texts, you want to know these things. So we have the problematic characters that were touched for a longer period of time, and we have the otherwise problematic characters that weren't touched at all, and we can drill down what character they are. Like the letter Y poses a problem for that particular student, so we have to do some more drills on the letter Y or something like that. This is basically what the log analyzer does.
And will the log analyzer work, Felix, with screen readers, or is it just in your own internal? Is it files that are run internally on the device?
Actually, it's the other way around. It will work currently. It will work only with screen readers, because
okay.
we have to have the PC that logs the interaction.
I understand. Yeah.
So the usual scenario is that you would give the student a Word document, load it up in Word. You would use JAWS, and you would enable logging, and it would log the reading behavior. And then afterwards, you can load it into the log analyzer and get a detailed evaluation, detailed analysis of what the student did with that particular document and how it went. Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. So just going to remind people, if you want to type any questions in the Q&A area, we'll pick those up. And Ellis has already put the price of the Actilino in the question area.
I think I would like to give really a close look for the site on your Braille display. Maybe you show us again how you do the music Braille entry and touching the specific positions. Because I'll go closer with the camera.
All right. Now I'm going to type some notes. And now I can.
Oh, now wonderful.
Okay. And now I can improvise with my finger.
Sounds a little Chinese.
Yeah, because I picked notes that sound good no matter what you play.
Corona edition. Huh?
No.
Okay. And so there's also a playback function.
Right.
Then it's.
I'm going to load the dance. The Lord of the Dance thing again. Now, if I play it, you can follow the cursor on the Braille display. And it will track what's played right now. It will scroll, and it will always highlight what's playing.
Yeah, I think the concept behind the Braille music feature on this device is really, really good.
Thanks for saying so.
Really, really, really great. I haven't seen anything else in the market that is doing this.
It's kind of interesting how it evolved. I was debugging something actually, and I assigned different frequencies to the different positions on the Braille display. And then Ziggy came in and said, "What are you doing? Are you playing a game or making music?" And I thought, why not? Right.
It's funny how these features can sometimes come out of an accidental, something else that's happened, and suddenly you're creating them.
The concept took us probably months to come up with, and then it took me 3 or 4 days to develop the thing.
Fantastic.
What's saying? Stay foolish.
Stay hungry. Stay foolish. Yeah, right.
We have a question. Does the Actilino work with NVDA?
Yes, it does.
As you keep talking about JAWS only. Okay, and I suppose that's maybe just because we're JAWS users. Felix, you're probably JAWS, but it does work with NVDA, does it?
Yes, I actually oscillate between them regularly because you cannot have too many tools on your belt when you.
Felix have also written the native driver for NVDA.
I've helped write it.
Okay. Don't put your Okay.
And maybe just one other kind of related question to what Katrina asked about NVDA. Like, is there Braille input available for NVDA? I know there is with JAWS through Actilino. Can you do that, or?
There is, yes, there is Braille input available. You type NVDA, you type the chord 127 just as in JAWS. It will turn on Braille input. But this is not the Braille input that JAWS has. It's NVDA's own Braille input. So we use this infrastructure, and we just hand over the key presses to NVDA, and we tell it, this is Braille input, please treat it as such, and it does whatever it likes to do, which is not always how we would do it if we designed it from scratch or something.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Felix. That's fantastic. And thank you, Ziggy. Ziggy, do you want to show us maybe just briefly the log analyzer? So we might just have it maybe 10 minutes or so.
I would love to. As Felix was explaining, vielen Dank, Felix. Thank you so much. As Felix was explaining, we are tracking the reading position with ATC, and it's quite complex to analyze which of the probably 8 positions touching the Braille displays. With sometimes you have 8 fingers on the Braille display. Which one is the reading position? We do this 50 times a second actually, so every 20 milliseconds, measuring the force of the individual pins on the Braille display and analyzing the reading position since it has a specific characteristic. What I would love to do is share my screen and showing you log files and what we can do. So let's log analyzer. So I hope you can now see my screen log analyzer. What I have done is I have opened one of the log files. So if you it started with a chord capital A with space with 1 and 7 to start logging. To start ATC, and then with a chord L, you can start logging and stop logging. Everything you do on the Braille display is now saved as a log file with the position and the time you took for each individual letter and each individual word. So I have done just a little quick here, 5 minute 44 second example. In this, what do we have? We have word reading 1,054 words. So you have a lot of detailed information. What when it was done, how it was done, and how many characters have been read. So I even know in the first minute there was 168 words read, in the second minute 203. So I have a statistic also on the reading flow by the minute. Let's say we have a half an hour, and you see, oh, this student is losing speed after 10 minutes, and maybe the other one keeps up the reading speed for 15 minutes. Maybe this tells you something, how to do the training, or how providing the next session. Here, Felix was talking about this, that there's also unread characters and unread words. In my case, I have analyzed that 23% of the letters on the Braille display presented have not been read. There could be. We can also analyze reading. Is reading combination or word and letter combinations. Stuart, you talked about UEB, that United English Braille is really is really important. So we can also track some combinations of UEB percentage, and so even complete words combinations or single characters. One thing I want to highlight here is characters per set. I can sort this. Oh, it was okay. So I know in my text, when I look at a character set, an overview, that the letter E, there was in total of 345 E's in my text. So the next one is I, A, O. So I have listed them by the amount appearing in this text, and it took the meantime was 63 milliseconds to read EI. So I can tell this probably was, I think it was one of my colleagues doing this recording for. We have one colleague, she's reading incredible fast. It could be her. If I look at 63 milliseconds for a character, it's really fast. If I have all those information showing in the slog analyzer, maybe I want to document this. Maybe I need to say, okay, this is student A and this student B, and maybe I have the same text as a reference text. So let's say my student is reading the same text 3 weeks later, and I want to compare how was the reading skill three weeks ago compared to today. One nice tool is that I can export all. What it does, it takes all the statistical data I have analyzed into an Excel sheet. So it opens up an Excel sheet, and I think I have to share this with you. One moment. One moment. I look for my Excel sheet. Here it is. So now you should be able to see my Excel sheet. Comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 folders. So you see also, for example, the reading improvements, the general, all as Excel sheets, characters per word. What else is there? Yeah. Here, for example, the amount of characters in this text and the average reading speed. So this here I have the chance to whatever cut and paste compare to the analyzing of the I have saved in an Excel sheet 3 weeks ago, or I can do some graphical presentation of the reading flow, whatever I want to do. We decided to go for exporting to Excel, since Excel is such a powerful tool that it's really nice to use. Another example is, and then I want to do this sharing, is the log player. And the second tool we have created, and maybe this is a good idea just to give a teacher a general idea how did the reading work. And this is something you can also nicely do from the distance. So let's say you have a student with a Handytext style Braille display in ATC technology, then let the student in homeschooling do their reading skills, reading lessons and exercises, and have that recorded by a log file. And this log file can be easily sent, since it's a pure text file. It's a very small file, so via email. So even it's a very, very small file, 100 for 5 minutes or so. And then if this log file is sent to you, you can also use the ATC log player to open this file and have it played. So what it shows in real time, how the student was reading this text. So you see also the area now turned into a light blue background indicates on the screen that this area have been already read. The actual reading position is in a darker blue color indicated, and so it shows you what was actually written on the Braille display and how the reading was, how the reading flow was in general. So this is something where you just can lean back as a teacher and observe. It looks like a continuous reading flow. Here it's there's some unique things I should check, something like this. Or maybe you can also here observe that a student often reading the same word twice or 3 times. I can stop and rewind the player. It's like a little tape recorder, and you can use the log file. And I think it gives a very general good idea of how the student was reading, and also, of course, you also then know my text I have sent to the student homeschooling was actually read. Here I have the proof with the log file. I see how the student was reading, that I have actually proof of the performance of the session they have done at home. So I hope, Stuart, you got the idea, and all of them joining us. What we are doing here.
Yeah, just one quick question from Katrina. It might be more for Felix. How do you edit notes if you've typed the wrong values? This relates to the Music Braille application. And
very, very simple. Let's say you want to erase the last one. Chord B is for backspace. Deletes the last one. It's actually the same editing functions we have in the editing. You can use the cursor routing to place it on a specific position and erase only this. You can cut and paste sections. All this is possible. So all the editing stuff you used to do in your notes, you can also do creating music files. So if you press then chord E for exit, then it also suggests you want to save this, suggesting a name. I think the default name is music, but you can also use your own whatever name you enter, and you can even, when sending it over to a PC, convert it into a MIDI file, so that you can use it on a PC as a MIDI file, and maybe even send it onto a keyboard which supports MIDI files.
Okay, and I'm actually thinking as an add-on to that, then you could potentially share that MIDI file with a teacher who might in turn be able to bring it into a music application to present it as a print notation, which would be a very interesting thing to try.
Oh, that would be so cool. I would like to experiment with that. Felix would love to see that too, and then we would. Yes. Any suggestion are very welcome. Yes,
it should work in theory. I mean, we will test. Listen, Ziggy, I want to thank you very much, and Felix for your really great presentation this morning. And Ellis and Jason, thank you very much as well. I know you guys weren't able to get into the actual event for all sorts of technical reasons, but you were available in the room. And thanks to James Everson from Sight and Sound as well. My colleague, I think James may have had to leave us, but James helped get this session set up. We'll follow up. Oh, he's still here. We weren't talking about videos. We'll be in touch with anyone if you have follow-up queries about this after today. Please get in touch with us, and Ellis and myself and James will follow up afterwards to see how we can respond to any queries from the visiting teacher group. And we will share the video from today's session. I'll work out a way to make that available to you guys as well. So thank you for your attendance, and Ziggy and Felix in particular, thank you very much for a really thorough presentation. And I'm conscious that we've eaten into your entire lunchtime, so I hope you're going to go and get some.
Oh, no, don't worry. It was our great pleasure. Anybody who wants to contact me, you can write at Ziggy, SIGI at helptech.de, or my complete name is Ziggy.Kipke, Kipke, or my initials also will do SKI at helptech.de. If you want to read Felix initials FGR for Felix Grützmacher, and at helptech. You also find us on our homepage with the contact, and we would be delighted to hear from you and discussing new ideas, wild ideas. Throw your wild ideas on us. We're very happy to work with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Katrina, who says thank you very much for the demonstration. Okay, so thanks everybody in the visiting teacher group. Thank you for your time this morning. I know you guys had previous meetings today, so it's a long morning. And we'll be in touch with everyone again soon. So we're going to end the live event now. And as I say, we'll share the video with you guys as soon as we have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I don't know if James has to press a button to turn it off.